G'day One More Fly Squad, welcome back to another Thursday trip report. I'm at Adelaide Airport. Today I'm flying Qantas 737 to Perth and then A330 up to Singapore. Now join me and go check in inside the terminal. Adelaide Airport is hustling and bustling right now. It's now the peak hour for a lot of travellers going overseas, including myself. There were long queues at the check-in and security, but thankfully if you've got gold or platinum, you can join the shorter queues. From check-in to getting into the airside, it took me less than 10 minutes. So flying from Adelaide to Singapore with Qantas, you're usually given 4 options. You can go via Perth, Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne. So for me the quickest options would be via Melbourne or Perth. Going to Perth means a longer domestic flight, about 3 hours, but then a shorter flight to Singapore, just about 5 hours. From Adelaide to Melbourne it's 1 hour, and then flying up to Singapore is about 7 to 8 hours. And today I chose via Perth, only because their international lounge is better. And I'll show you that later when we get to Perth. So right now I'm just having some light breakfast. The staff at the Adelaide Qantas Club make really good chai latte.
Brisbane is now boarding at gate 24, thank you.
So hello there, before I go I thought I'm going to show the shower room at the Qantas Club Adelaide Airport. We've got Kahook right there. You've got a lot of space and it's bright. I really like this shower room, even though it's a bit older and dated. You can ask for towels from the reception, and you've got 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, shower gel in this Kimberly-Clark container. Before long, it's time to head to our boarding gate. Our gate today is a little bit far, gate 26. It's a 2-minute walk from the lounge. Here's our aircraft today, a 17-year-old Qantas Boeing 737-800 Victor Hotel, Victor Yankee India. I've actually flown on this aircraft more than once. The last time would be from Adelaide to Canberra in January 2021. It was a day trip to Canberra during COVID, and I was glad it was a day trip because I found it so boring in Canberra. Good morning, how are you? Good, thanks.
That's all right. Thanks, sir.
Cheers. Hello. In Australia, airlines board really efficiently. If you're sitting at the back rows, that means you're going to board from the back using the stairs. I wish more airlines around the world would do that.
Morning, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Welcome on board.
Welcome on board QF 883 to Perth. My seat today is 4F, the first row in economy, just behind business. You get a huge amount of leg room sitting at row 4.
Bags wheels first, just to maximise the available space. You're no longer required to wear a mask on Australian flights, however we will continue to make them available on board, as we do appreciate that some customers and crew may still wish to wear them.
Bag inflation. Fit your own mask first and then help others.
The 90s saw another first for Qantas in the flying art of one-hour dreaming.
On this domestic flight, there's wireless entertainment and also free unlimited Wi-Fi. You can also charge your phone using one of the USB ports that you'll find underneath the seat. Shortly after takeoff, the cabin crew began the meal service. Today we're going to be served a full breakfast. Because this is a longer domestic flight, they do cater for passengers with dietary requirements, and also the portions are bigger. So for my vegan meal, I got some spinach and some frittatas made from potatoes. For sides, I got a mango cutlet and also dried fruits. For beverages, The crew gave me 2 bottles of water, and for my drink of choice I went for a hot tea. For regular meal orders, you get 2 options, either a yogurt and mango and some dry fruits, or a cheese chive omelette and chicken sausage. To be honest, I was pleasantly surprised when they gave me my special meal orders. I placed that order mainly for my international flight to Singapore. I didn't know it was going to go through for this domestic flight. Welcome on board Qantas 737 Economy Lavatory down the back of the plane. Very beautiful mood lighting, however, the space is ridiculously tiny. You've got a mirror there, just so that, I don't know, psychologically the space is bigger. But you do have 2 coat hooks, which is fabulous.
Qantas or Qantas Link domestic flight, please.
Half-hour time zone change this time of year between Adelaide and Perth. The local time in Perth has gone 17 minutes past 7. And good news is we've made pretty good progress throughout the flight today. Air traffic control's actually sped us up. We're going to be disembarking around 20 minutes ahead of schedule at 7:45. On behalf of the captain and the rest of the crew, thanks for choosing to fly with Qantas. Enjoy the rest of your day.
So we're not far from landing into Perth. Right now we're looking at Perth Airport. So that was one excellent domestic flight. I was happy that I managed to grab row 4 with extra legroom. Qantas doesn't charge for row 4. You just gotta secure them quickly. The food was delicious on board, and also the cabin crew came down to me just before we landed into Perth to say hello and make sure that I know how to transit at Perth Airport between flights. Since my transit is quite long, about 4 hours, she gave me a bottle of water as well. And that's excellent service. Now enjoy the landing into Perth, and after that I'll show you the lounges and also the flight to Singapore. The good old Virgin A330. I miss flying them to Hong Kong.
Have a great trip. Bye-bye.
So I just disembarked and I'm walking towards Terminal 3, which is the international terminal. So here we are outside the Qantas International Wing. That door leads to immigration. However, it doesn't open until an hour later. The first flight is going to Singapore. So I was wondering, where could I go? I can't go into the lounge over there, so I headed to the domestic business lounge and the agent let me through with my gold card. So at 8 AM the lounge is quite quiet. There are many empty chairs. The only sad thing is that the bar doesn't open until 12. I've got 4 hours in Perth, so let's take a shower. Voila, I made it to the shower room in a Qantas domestic business lounge at Perth Airport Terminal 4. So because obviously the international side is not open yet, they let me to use the domestic business lounge, which is normally for domestic business and platinum members. So it's really nice here. You've got premium shower products, rain shower, very lovely vibe and music, and still coat hooks. So shower's done and my phone is recharged. Now let's go out and get some coffee. The breakfast buffet at Perth Domestic Business is really good. You have plenty of hot and cold buffet options. The flavoured water at a Qantas lounges is quite special. Taxi! So I just ordered a iced latte. And there we go, and I'm having it with my fruits and muesli. At 8:50 AM, the lounge receptionist made an announcement saying that the international wing is open, so we could now go through immigration and custom and head to the Qantas International Perth Lounge. There were literally only 3 travellers, including myself, at Immigration and Security, and I got through really quickly. So we just made it to the International Lounge. This used to be called the Transit Lounge for travellers on QF 9 and 10 travelling between London and Melbourne. Now this is open for all travellers with lounge access travelling on Qantas international flights from Perth. So this is one of Qantas' newest lounges in their network. It's beautifully designed, it's so contemporary, and I absolutely love this outdoor terrace with natural lights. Last year they were giving out champagne here, but now it's just a Western Australian sparkling. Well, it still does the job for me. So this lounge got quite busy before our flight departs. It's not a super tiny lounge, but then a lot of travellers on our flight to Singapore has status. So now we've got about 10 minutes until our flight boards. I'm just heading back upstairs where the gate is and headed to the outdoor terrace, which is a public area for those in the T3 airside. It's cool to get a little bit of sunshine and fresh air before you board your plane. And you can literally see our aircraft right there. Hello. Our aircraft to Singapore is operated by a 15-year-old Qantas Airbus A330-200 Victor Hotel Echo Bravo Golf.
Morning. Welcome, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Good, thank you. We're just down across, and then we're just take a right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Welcome on board Qantas A330-200. My seat today is 39K, the very last row in the forward economy cabin. So notice how there's no TV on the seat. However, everybody is provided with an iPad with entertainment installed. So now let's go through the seat features. So there's no cot hook. There are two USB ports, one for your own device and one for the iPad that they provide. Here's a standard tray table. You can't fold it, but you can move it back and forth. It's not the cleanest table, I see. So here's a standard seat pocket, your iPad's waiting inside. I'll show you how it works. So I'll show you some pros and cons compared to a regular TV. So pros, you can just place it there or hold it if you want to. For cons, you can't place it there for takeoff and landing, but you can hold it. And also there's no flight map. And also everybody's provided with a bottle of water. Legroom is okay for a 5-hour flight. It's 31 inches. So amenities, you've got headsets, blankets and pillows. The pillow is quite soft and fluffy. It's pretty good for economy class. Headrest can be adjusted up and down, and also you can flip the sides. There's a relatively huge gap between the windows and the seats. Not as huge as the A380 though, so I could place my personal items in between and give myself a bit more moving space.
Flight today, so we would appreciate if you could move to your seats as quickly as possible and place smaller bags under the seats in front of you and larger bags into the overhead lockers. Members on this Qantas flight to Singapore. Please place your bags either under the seat in front of you or into the overhead lockers.
Seat pocket, which is your entertainment for the flight. These iPads cannot be placed in the seat back.
Implement seatbelts. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the clasp into the buckle and tighten that with the strap.
past 3 Qantas international flights from Australia for me have been so different, quite inconsistent I would say. So on this flight, they didn't do the cocktail service, so nuts and drinks. They jumped straight to the meal service. The economy supervisor came to me and passed me my special meal order. He introduced himself to me and thanked me for my loyalty with Qantas, and throughout the flight a few cabin crew would address me by my last name, which is pretty cool. So this is the exact same meal I got on my Sydney to Hong Kong flight just a month ago. It's pasta with roasted cauliflower. So the main advantage I would say for a special meal order is of course you get it before everyone else, but also on Qantas you actually get more food than others. Like other passengers would get a bread, but for special meals I also get a chocolate cake and dry fruits. So this meal portion wise, it's great. I don't want to brag about my cooking, but I think the pasta I make at home tastes better. The chocolate cake though was really good. Now I want to show you the iPad content. So it's really easy to use and navigate around. You have tons of movies and TV shows, but no live TV, no news, and sadly for AV geeks, there's no flight map. Plus there's no Wi-Fi, so you literally don't know where you are. That being said, Qantas is going to roll out free internet on international flights later this year. So the cabin crew just came with a cart to give out regular meals, and I got my drink just now. I got a sparkling. If you're enjoying this video so far, please leave a like, comment down below and share this video with your friends. And most importantly, only about 25% watching right now have actually subscribed to my channel. If the rest of you subscribe, I'm gonna have like 100k subs right now. So please subscribe. I love you all. So Qantas doesn't do paper menus in economy anymore. They do, however, show it on the TV. But on this plane, there's no TV, so they explained it through the announcement. So there are 3 options: a plant-based option, tikka masala, a beef and vegetable option, and lastly a garlic pepper chicken rice. Despite a very full flight, thankfully, not many people went for the plant-based option, so I asked for leftover. Interestingly, despite that vegan option is a choice, it's different when you pre-order it. And I actually thought this one tasted better than my special meal order. Now I am very satisfied. The crew just handed out desserts. Qantas always give out iced lollipops on international flights from Australia. Shortly after, they came back to do hot beverages, coffee and tea. So I know Tim Tam is not vegan, but I had it anyway because I was offered one. Before I even finished my tea, I literally fell asleep. I didn't even need my headphones or eye mask. And when I woke up, there was a pack of snacks waiting for me. So a quick lavatory tour. For today's standard, it's not tiny at all, and it's good that the ceiling is not low.
Replica guns and offensive weapons into Singapore. Offenders may be prosecuted under Singapore law. Unauthorised consumption, possession, import, export and or trafficking of any controlled drug substance, including cannabis, being in front of you. If you aren't seated at a bulkhead or in an exit row, all bags need to be placed in the overhead lockers. Please ensure your seat back is upright with your seatbelt or sash belt firmly fastened. Tray tables, footrests and bassinets must now be stowed with window shades open. Please also remove all cables from seat back charging ports and stow entertainment screens.
So we've started our descent into Singapore, so let's quickly conclude this trip report with Qantas right here, right now. I started my journey today at Adelaide. The lounge there is nice, and then it was a slightly long domestic flight to Perth. It was nice that they served full hot breakfast on that flight, and also the customer service manager came to say hello to me and also make sure that I know my way at Perth Airport. At Perth Airport, before the international area was open, I was able to use the domestic business lounge. For those without lounge access, you will end up sitting outside for 4 hours, so personally, if I don't get lounge access, I would just go via East Coast, like Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane, have a shorter transit, but then a longer international flight. So you can of course pick and choose whichever you want. And they're usually around the same price, just a few dollar difference. So the domestic lounge and also the international lounge were both really good. Both were new, massive, and I particularly liked the outdoor terrace in the international lounge. On the second flight to Singapore, the cabin supervisor said hello to me just like the first flight, and that's something I like about Qantas. They do show a lot of care to their frequent flyers on board. They would sometimes even give you business class goodies. So personally, no TV, no biggies for me. I was happy with the iPad. But I think in general, TV is better because you get the map, and that's what most travellers expect on long haul flights. So on Perth to Singapore, unlike from East Coast to Singapore, you only get one service because it's only 5 hours compared to 7 to 8 hours from the East. I ate so much on this plane and I was really satisfied. And I also found the A330-200 seats without the TV to be really comfortable. I found it to be a lot more ergonomic compared to other seats on Qantas aircraft. And most importantly for me, it's got double seat back padding for my weak back. So I literally collapsed after the meal service and I slept really well uninterrupted. So this was a great journey to Singapore with Qantas. I was really happy. For your information, I paid $1,043 for Australia to Singapore return. The outbound is with Qantas, Adelaide, Perth, Singapore. Inbound is with Emirates, code sharing with Qantas to Melbourne. For $1,000, pre-COVID it's quite expensive, but post-COVID it's quite cheap. So that's it for the conclusion today. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe so that you can also check out my Emirates trip report from Singapore to Melbourne soon. You can add me or follow me on my social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, BeReal and TikTok. And lastly, if you want to make direct impacts into funding my flights, you can do so via PayPal or Patreon. I will have the links in the description if you want to check them out. So I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later at the end of the video for a short Singapore vlog. Bye bye.
Time here is just coming up to 5:02 p.m. on Friday the 21st of April. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is off. As always, smoking, vaping and use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. Please take care when opening the overhead lockers as your baggage may have moved and it could fall out. And before leaving, ensure you check your seat and seat pocket for any personal items. If you can reach your phone, you can now turn off flight mode. On behalf of all of us here at Qantas and One World, thank you for choosing to fly with us. If you're visiting Singapore, we hope you enjoy your stay, and of course, to those returning, welcome home.
On my channel, you can find a few Singapore Airlines trip reports in economy, premium economy and business class. Also Scoot, KLM from Singapore to Bali, Qatar Airways from Hong Kong to London, and also a few videos on BA, including last year's Singapore to Sydney. So do check them out on my channel.
Coming through the south doors and cross-check.
Goodbye. See you, Mr. Wong. I saw you the last time we came from Hong Kong to Sydney. It was on our flight. You were in 3A, yes.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm trying to say hi, but you were having to snooze. Have a nice evening, okay?
Thank you, you too. Welcome to Singapore. This time I'm staying at Jane Singapore, Tanglin, which is near Orchard Road. It's part of the Shangri-La group. That would be my suitcase. So here's the room. And I've got a swimming pool view. So I was in Singapore for 4 days, 3 nights. I checked out the beautiful Atlas Bar. And it's quite funny, so I met a new friend there. She came from Sydney, here for a work trip, and we literally have a mutual friend. And for one of the dinners, we went to this Australian restaurant called the Underdog Inn. This popcorn dessert slaps. So this is the lounge at the Gen Hotel. So I don't have lounge access, but my friend staying at the same hotel does, so he brought me in. So that was a quick snapshot of my Singapore vlog. Thank you so much for watching, especially to my PayPal and Patreon members. See you again next week. Bye bye.